Okay, so hello everyone. I hope you are doing well. So this is Hussein Kasiras, the international trainer, and today will be the first lesson that we are going to start concerning 25-hour TEFL course. Okay. Okay, so hello everyone. I hope you are doing well. So this is Hussein Kasiras, the international trainer, and today will be the first lesson that we are going to start concerning 25-hour TEFL course. Okay. Okay, so hello everyone. I hope you are doing well. So this is Hussein Kasiras, the international trainer, and today will be the first lesson that we are going to start concerning 25-hour TEFL course. So hello everyone. Okay, let me share again. So this is the first lesson. Okay, thank you. Now, the first lesson is going to be about methods and approaches in teaching and learning. And this course is organized by Global Bass Foundation. So let me give you an idea about what is Global Bass Foundation. So Global Bass Foundation was founded in 2017, and its main purpose is to empower youth and teachers, educators. So we have worked locally, nationally, and internationally. So we have coached and trained youth and teachers in several countries like Spain, Tunisia, Indonesia, China, Vietnam, etc. Okay. And now we are very glad to share with you a very interesting course. It's for free and for 3 weeks. All right, good. So here, just an idea about the trainer. My name is Hussein Kasiras. I've been teaching English for more than 13 years. I'm a Cambridge certified trainer at ITTI Algeria and Picasso Academy Morocco. I got 2 master degrees, Master of Business Administration from Cardiff Metropolitan University and Master of Education from Rabat Mohammed V University. So Hussein has been teaching business English in different prestigious colleges, such as Sandadan University, Iyad Hassan II, Mohammedia School of Engineers, ALC Rabat, and CPGE Saleh. I am the co-founder of Global Bus Foundation that aims at empowering both youth and educators. I'm also the founder and director of Rabat International Conference on English Language Teaching. I have coached and trained both youth and teachers from Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, Spain, and Turkey. And I was in charge of 2 projects. The first project named Yes Peace Project, and the second one, Youth Empowerment. I am the writer of the back preparation book, and of course, I've wrote several articles on business and English language teaching. And I did the research with Cardiff University in UK on quality education in Morocco. I'm very glad today to start the course of 25-hour TEFL course. Thank you. Great. So let's get started. I'm very excited. So look here, this is the program. I'm not going to go deeper, but as you see here, we have lesson 1, day 2 to lesson 10. So for basically 3 weeks, but here we are going to work on Friday, Sunday, Saturday and Sunday all the time. So September 11th, and we finish on September 28th. It's for free, but the certificates are paid if you want to get them. So what are going to study in this course? Number one, the methods and approaches in teaching and learning. The second lesson is how to teach grammar communicatively. The third lesson is how to teach vocab effectively. Lesson number 4, how to teach reading communicatively. Lesson number 5, how to teach listening actively. Lesson number 6 or 5 is about teaching listening actively. And lesson number 6, how to better design a good lesson plan. Lesson number 8 is about classroom management. How are you going to manage your classroom? How are you going to motivate your students? Lesson number 9 is about the top digital learning tools to engage learners. And as you see, the whole world now moved to online courses or online education. So it's really a great idea to know about some technological or digital tools to teach your learners. And the last lesson, lesson number 8 is about class observation. Okay, then we have top digital learning tools to engage learners. And lesson number 10 is online micro teaching. So as you see, this program combines the two, theory plus practice, because at the end you are going to teach, but now you are not going to teach in-person classes. You are going to teach online, okay, on Zoom. All right, great. These are some other information or other pieces of information about the work or the course. Great, so let's get started. Now, the aims of the first day is about, number 1, we are going to start with introduction. What are the best teaching certificates that you should get to get a job, either nationally or overseas, internationally? Then we are going to see some definitions about approach, method, procedures, techniques, etc. Because sometimes you get confused about the difference between all these concepts or terms. Number 3, we are going to see some very common approaches and methods. We are going to focus more on their features, their characteristics, about how they look at teachers, how they look at learners, how they look at the language, okay? So we are going to have an overview about the very common approaches and methods. Next, we are going to observe some teachers teaching, and then we are going to give feedback, to comment, to reflect on their teaching, which approaches they are adapting or adopting, which approaches they are using, etc. And at the end, recommendations. All right, good. Now, I have got many questions from a lot of people from Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Pakistan, India, all over the world. They are asking about what's the difference between TEFL, Chisol, and Chisol. So here, TEFL, the acronym definition, stands for Teaching English as a Foreign Language. Chisol is teaching English as a second language. Chisol is teaching English to speakers of other languages. But I can tell you something very important, that all of them have got the same purpose. To get the TEFL certificate or TESOL or Chisol certificate, at the end, they have the same purpose, which is teaching English, either as a foreign language or as a second language, but no problem. Some they tell me, teacher, what is the best? Is it TEFL or Chisol or CELTA? I say there is no best. All of them have got the same objective. Okay, but here, the only difference is where you want to teach. So TEFL, where can I teach? Here, with the TEFL certification, you can teach abroad. Where exactly? In countries where English is not the native language. For example, Korea, China, Brazil, even Morocco. In Morocco, English is a foreign language. Algeria, English is a foreign language. Tunisia, etc. Okay, so you can teach in these places. However, you can teach all over the world, okay, because the same purpose is teaching English. All right, now Chisol is teaching English as a second language. So TEFL certified teachers commonly teach in private native English language schools in English speaking countries such as Canada. So here, if you get TEFL, you can teach in the private sector where you can teach in Canada, USA, South Africa, UK, etc. However, the TEFL also you can teach there because it has got the same purpose. All right, now the TESOL. So TESOL again stands for teaching English to speakers of other languages. Where can I teach? Where can you teach? So like a TESS certificate or a TESOL certificate is often used for domestic teaching within English speaking countries at home, but could also be applicable internationally. So please don't get confused which is the best. I want to teach abroad. Is it the TEFL, CELTA, TESOL, or TESOL? I'm going to tell you with experience or by experience, all of them have got the same objective, the same purpose. It's your skills that will impose on other companies to hire you. Okay, so please, any comments, any questions so far about these? All right. Thank you. Great. Now, we are here in Morocco. We teach TEFL in Rabat. So teaching English is a foreign language. Why? Number one, when you get the TEFL certificate, when you have got the experience, the skills and the knowledge. So here, number one, you are going to gain knowledge and skills required to teach. You cannot teach overnight. You need the knowledge, information, approaches, methods, techniques, procedures, the how, the what, when, why, plus the skills. So it's very important. When you get the TEFL certificate, that means the profile you are going to get is that you are a certified teacher. You have got both the knowledge and skills. Number two, to make money, of course, you are gonna work for money, okay? So you are gonna work to get paid, to get salary. Number three, you become qualified to work anywhere in the world. If you have good pronunciation, good skills, good knowledge, other skills, you can teach everywhere. And I know some TEFL certified teachers, they teach in UK, in Canada, in America, in Asia, okay, in Africa. So it's your skills, your knowledge that can make a difference. Number four, you experience new cultures. So many students from Morocco got the TEFL certificate and they went abroad. Where? Exactly in Asia, in China, Vietnam, Hong Kong. Some they went even to Europe, in Russia, in Ukraine, etc. So you are going to experience new cultures if you are, if you like to have to exchange and know about other cultures. Number five, unknown opportunities. You don't know what will come to you, okay? You don't expect, okay? So when you get the TEFL certificate, you may have other chances, you may have other opportunities. And number six, of course, if you want to apply for a certain job, number one, you should send your CV, the resume. So it's a CV builder. You don't get your BA or master degree. No, BA, master degree plus TEFL certificate. So it's an added value on your CV. And number seven, you stand out in the job application. Strong competition. Many people, many teachers, many students are applying for the same job. So what makes a difference? How can you stand out of the crowd? How? Is when you have another skill, is the TEFL certificate. Okay. Yeah. And here, it's rewarding. It's challenging to teach, but at the same time, it's rewarding. You teach with the heart, and then you may have great opportunities. So it's rewarding, like give and take. All right. Number 9, I want to go back to number 2. Number 9, number 1, to make money. It's okay. Yeah, it's life. You need money for living. But at the same time, as a human being, your job is to help others. So here, do charity work, improve someone else's life. You are not going to teach all your life for gaining money. No, you are not a good person. A good person is going to spend some time for changing, for creating positive changes in his or her community. So do charity. You can teach for free. For example, homeless children, children who have got no parents, poor children, why not? Okay. How? By joining non-governmental organizations or by organizing seminars or workshops for free. And number 10, get international work experience on your resume. So when you go abroad, you work for 1 year, 2 years, you come back. Now you are an international educator. So this is why the TEFL training, the TEFL certificates are very important. Okay. Yes, please, for our attendees here on Zoom, if you have any question or even on YouTube and Facebook, please, you can write in the chat box or you can show thumbs up and then you can interact. Okay, great. So here is a question someone said, what about in Japan? Yeah, you can even teach in Japan. Yeah, no problem. It's the skills that makes or create the difference between you and others. All right, great. So here, the next slide. Now, let's get started. Look at the picture and what can you see here? What can you see in this picture? Any volunteer? Or you can write in the chat box. So let me see those who are following us on YouTube or Facebook. All right. Yes, please. Okay. So anyone? Yeah, thumbs up. Then you can, I'm going to give you the floor to talk. So what do they have in common? All right. So Chili, yes, please use the mic. Dina, can you activate your mic?
Yes, different languages. People speak in different languages.
Thank you. So different languages, great. So here we have a very important question, is that when you start teaching, these are very important questions to bear in mind. Number 1, how many languages do you speak and how did you learn them as a teacher and when you were a learner? Number 2, what are the differences between learning a language naturally and learning it in a classroom? Number 3, do we all learn at the same rate? If not, why not? And number 4, what are the characteristics of a good language learner? We are going to teach. You will have different learning styles, different learners, slow learners, high achievers, active learners, troublemakers, okay? So what are the characteristics of a good language learner? And number 5, why do some learners find it more difficult to learn a language than others? Now let's start with the first question. I'm going to ask the audience, all of you, how many languages do you speak and how did you learn it? Just write numbers. Yeah, you can write in the chat box on YouTube or Facebook, okay? How many languages do you speak? All right. So let me see on the chat box. All right. So Yeah, here some said 3, 4. Great. So that's interesting. All right. So Leila Abu Ashur said 4, Umayma Gashura said 5, Bizdri Muhammad 3. Wow, Umayma 5. Thank you. Wonderful. So you should teach us. Okay. The best in the world said 4, Firdaus 3, Rabi'a 4, Ilham 3. Thank you. So most of you have got more than 3. Yeah, I speak, let me see, I speak English, some French, Arabic standard, and Darija. Okay. Yeah, Darija also we can, yeah, dialects. So 4, but basically it's 3. Okay, good. Question number 2. What are the differences between learning a language naturally and learning it in a classroom? Anyone to answer? Anyone? Okay, yeah. So Shaima, yes, please use the mic. Can you activate your mic, Shaima?
Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
The difference between learning a language naturally and learning it in a classroom context, basically the one who explained this is Krushan. He explained that speaking a language naturally means acquiring a language. It means that it happened in a natural context. There were no teacher. And learning in a classroom means learning, not acquiring. He made a difference between the two terms.
Thank you. Yeah, very interesting. Okay, thanks. So let me see here. Okay, thanks. So Jihan said acquisition and learning. Okay, yeah, thank you. Great. And number 3, do we all learn at the same rate? If not, why not? Do you think that all our learners learn at the same time, the same rate? What do you think? Yeah, let me see here again, Shaima. Yes, please activate your mic.
Well, again, question theory about the effective filter. If the effective filter is low, we can learn at the same rate, but if it's high, no, we cannot learn at the same rate.
Wonderful,
So,
thank you. Yeah. Thanks, that's interesting. And here Firdaus on YouTube said, the mother tongue is acquired by cultural and social context, while learning in a classroom depends on respecting some rules. Interesting, okay. Rabia said, learning language naturally makes you become more fluent. Thanks. Muhammad Bizri, classical Arabic, Moroccan, English, Berber, and Hassani variety. Yeah, he's laughing here. Thank you. That's interesting. Yeah, of course, our learners do not learn at the same rate. That's why we have to believe that we are teaching learners belonging to different learning styles. Some are kinesthetic. They can learn quickly using movement. Okay, they have to move. Okay, they have to stand. They have to walk. Others are auditory. They can learn via listening. They can learn quickly. Okay, while others are visual learners. When there's a video, when there are pictures, they feel motivated and they learn. So here, our learners cannot learn at the same rate because they have different learning styles. And your job as a teacher is to meet your students' different learning styles. How? When you are teaching, you don't have all the time to use pictures and videos. Why? Because in your class, you have got auditory learners, you have kinesthetic learners, you have got verbal learners. So you should have a variety of activities, variety of topics, variety of methods, variety of techniques. This is the best of the best. Okay, good. Number 4, what are the characteristics of a good language learner? What do you think? A good language learner? Yeah, anyone? All right. And here someone said, don't you think that learners who need to move to learn are victims of Corona? Yeah, it's very funny expression, okay. Yeah, but here kinesthetic learners, they like to move, okay. All right, interesting. Thank you. Great. So yeah, the characteristics of a good learner, yeah, hardworking, okay, active listener, they listen a lot. They ask a lot of questions. Okay, they are enthusiastic. Thank you, Siham. A good language learner who participates more in classroom. Yes, sir. Good, Nasira, they get charge of their learning. They learn from their mistakes. Wonderful. They don't feel embarrassed when they make mistakes. It's okay. Mistakes are part of the learning process. When you make mistakes, yeah, you learn. Okay, so here is the rule of the teacher. You as a teacher, you have to motivate your learners. You have to tell them that making mistakes is part of learning, is natural, it's okay. No way, if you don't make a mistake, you will not learn. Those who are successful are those who make a lot of mistakes. Okay. Wahida said, and use good grammar in writing, communicate with their peers and teacher. Shaima said, self-confidence. Thank you. Now, number 5, why do some learners find it more difficult to learn a language than others? Why do you think some learners find it hard to understand your lesson, while others, teacher, 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 very quickly they raise their hands and they answer? Why some students, you teach them, you explain to them, but they still making a lot of mistakes. They still find it hard, while others, to the point, okay, no problem. Jihan said, because we are different. Good. Dina, maybe they don't practice enough. Good. Linda, multiple intelligence. I like it, Linda. Thank you. Shaima, I think they are still not ready to speak. Wonderful. Wahida said they feel shy. Someone here said they are not motivated. Sarah, maybe because they have different learning skills or styles. Wonderful. Okay, great. And here Abdul Ali said, Chomsky said there is nothing with being wrong. Yeah, there is nothing with being wrong. Thank you. Firdaus said enthusiasm, self-learning, and learning from mistakes. Hafida, no, because the aptitude varies from a student to another. Thank you. Great. All right, so let's move to the next slide. Now, I like this one a lot. Wait, I'm so confused. We talk about approach, method, as if they are the same. We talk about techniques and procedures, again, as if they are similar. But there is a difference. So when you are teaching, when you are a teacher, a certified teacher, now it's high time to put the words into the right places. Approach is not an approach. A technique is not a procedure. A technique is not a skill. Now, our audience on YouTube, what do you think? So what is an approach? Can someone define what is an approach? Anyone to write? Just give me one term, one word. Abdali on YouTube said, me too, confused. Okay, yeah. Anyone? Yes, please. All right. So Siham said an approach is a set of techniques. Okay, Shaima. Approaches are taken from methods. Muhammad, approach is a method. Wahida said, could you repeat the question? Yes, what is an approach? Sana, theories. Okay, good. Thank you. Now, what's the method? A method, or what's the difference between an approach and a method? So Leila on YouTube said approach is a method. Oh. Muhammad Bizri, approach is a technique of teaching. Jihan said it's theory. Okay, Abdul Ali. Approach, collection of assumptions about teaching as defined by a thank you, Abdul Ali. Approach is based on assumptions. This is the key term. Approach refers to assumptions. Thank you. Muhammad here said it's a way of both, combination of teaching and, thank you. Here, Ilham said is a way of looking at how teaching and learning should be. the best in the world said set of assumptions on how language is taught. Dina said approach is a way of dealing with something and the method is a process used or steps to follow. Now, my question, are you confused or not? What you have said, yes, confirms that you are confused. Okay, great. Now, a technique, what's the technique? And what's the difference between a technique and a procedure? Okay. Yes, please. Yes, Jean said completely confused. Thank you. Shema, techniques are tasks used in the teaching learning process. So they are tasks. All right. We will see. Great. Yes. Sahar on YouTube said methods are the tools used to implement an approach. Wonderful. Okay. Sarah, techniques include activities. Thank you. Sana, techniques are the tools we use to teach. Wonderful. Linda, techniques are part of the process. Okay, now what about procedures? Procedures. Yes, procedures. Yes. Muhammad said procedures are the means. Okay, they are the means. Thank you. Dina said procedure is a process while technique is the practical aspect. Thank you. Interesting. Linda, the way we perform things. Okay, great. Yes, others, what do you think? So let me see here. All right, thank you for your answers. Now let's see here one by one. So approach is the first one, the approach. An approach is based on the general assumptions about what language is and about how learning a language takes place. Richards and Rogers, 1986. It's based on assumptions. Okay, now an approach focuses on the theory of language and the theory of learning. Two, theory of language, theory of learning. An approach to language teaching describes what? So basically it describes three parts. Number one, the nature of language. Number two, how knowledge of a language is acquired, language acquisition. And number three, and the conditions that promote language acquisition. So basically an approach is based on assumptions and tries to work on two, language or the theory, okay, of language and the theory of learning. So please, the keywords are assumptions, theory of language and theory of learning. Great. Now, method. A method is the practical implementation of an approach. So number one, we start with the approach. Now, if you want to move to actions, to practice, there is a method. So it is a practical implementation of an approach, which means when you put a theory into practice. So a theory is put into practice at the level of a method. So it includes decisions about what? The particular skills to be taught, about the skills, about the role of the teacher, the role of the students, etc. And about the procedures and techniques, and also about the content you are going to teach. And also it involves specific syllabus organization, choice of materials that will boost learning and the means to assess learners and evaluate teaching and learning. So number one, approach, assumptions, trying to describe and focuses on what? On language, theory of language and language learning. Now, we want to move to practice. So there is a method. It's a practical implementation. So it's when you put theory into practice, and it takes into account skills, roles of teachers and learners, procedures, techniques, content, materials used, etc. Good. Now, procedures. Jeremy Harmer, 2001, describes procedures as an ordered set of techniques. So it is a step-by-step activities or etc. So here we are talking about the order. What is number one? What's number two? What's number three? Now, if you want to give students a task, you tell them number one, you work in pairs. Number two, you go to the board and talk. Number three, you correct each other. Number four, you give feedback. So it's an ordered set of techniques. So they are the step-by-step measures to execute a method. So a common procedure in the grammar translation method, for example, is to start by explaining the grammar rules. Now, when you are teaching grammar and you are adopting the grammar translation method, number one, you start with the rules. Number two, with examples. So step by step, etc. Now, according to Harmer, a procedure is smaller than a method and larger than a technique. Okay, so this is these are the procedures, an ordered set of techniques, step by step, measures to execute. Now, technique or techniques. Implementing a procedure necessitates certain practices. Here the keywords are practices, behaviors that operate in teaching a language according to a particular method. So these practices and behaviors are the techniques that every procedure relies on. So techniques in this sense are part and parcel of procedures. They are the actual moment-to-moment classroom. Here the keyword, when we talk about techniques, we focus on the classroom context. Techniques take place in the classroom. Okay. Steps that lead to a specified outcome. So every procedure is realized through a series of techniques. They could take the form of an exercise or just any activity that you have to do to complete a task. And here there's a very interesting example. Now, when you are using a video, and then you want your students to watch the video and to listen and then to answer the questions, you can start with a technique, which is the teachers often use a technique called silent viewing. The video is about 3 minutes. Now, you use the mute mode and the video is silent for 25 seconds, 25 seconds. And then you ask your learners to guess. So this is a technique, the silent viewing, which consists of playing the video without sound and asking students to figure out what the characters were saying. So, approach, assumptions, method, practical, okay, and theory into practice. Then we have procedures, okay, step by step, ordered, okay, of procedures. Then we have technique, certain activities, certain exercises, and the technique takes place in the classroom. Good. Now, this is the result. This is a summary of approach, method, procedure, and technique. Look here. The approach tells you about the practical implementation. The practical implementation, the theory into practice. And the method itself tells you about the procedures, the step-by-step measures to execute. And the procedures, if they want to achieve the desired outcomes, they need what? They need techniques. So it goes like this. An approach informs methods with both the theory of language and the theory of learning. This is the approach. Methods are actual implementations of approaches. They are theories put into practice. Procedures, in turn, are informed by methods. They are ordered step-by-step events that have specified outcomes. And if you want to achieve these specified outcomes, you need the techniques. So procedures rely on techniques to achieve desired results. Now, you may not be confused somehow, okay? So this is the approach, methods, procedures, and techniques. And I hope they are somehow clear. Okay, great. Good. Now, I want you, now I'm going to move to something very important about approaches and methods. Now we are narrowing things. Now, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. I want you to read the situations and then you tell me which one or ones do you agree or disagree with. Okay. I want you to read Kevin, Sophia, and Hussein. Which one do you agree and disagree? Yeah, 2 minutes, please. All right, so any volunteer to talk? So here Muhammad said, I agree with the last one. I agree with the last one. Dina, disagree with Kevin and Sophia. Najia, Al-Hussein, Siham, the last one. Thank you. So most of you said the last one and you disagree with Kevin and Sophia. Anyone can explain why do you disagree with Kevin and Sophia? And why do you agree with the last? By the way, it's not me, it's another Hussein, okay? All right, I'm just kidding, okay? Yes. Any volunteer? Yes, please. Any volunteer here on Zoom can talk or our audience on YouTube? Yes, please. All right, Shema is very active today. Thank you, Shema from Algeria. Yes, please.
I'm from Morocco, not
I'm from Morocco,
Algeria.
sorry.
It's okay. So why I disagree with Kevin and Sophia is because while teaching a classroom, you shouldn't use just one method or one approach or one technique, because as we all know, inside a classroom or in a classroom context, there are different type of learners and different type of intelligences that require different type of approaches and different type of techniques. That is why I like one of the latest methods. It's called the Eclectic Method, which is a combination between different type of methods, basically. And yes, that's why I disagree with Kevin and
Thank you
Sophia.
so much. Okay, you sum up everything. Now you have to come here and give the training. Yeah, you sum up everything. Wonderful, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, as Shema said, there is no perfect, there is no best approach or method. Why? Because you are not teaching beginners, you are not teaching advanced learners, but you are teaching different learning styles. I can tell you something very interesting. When you teach a level, please don't mention that I teach first grade or second grade. So when you say I teach the first grade, that means you are teaching the same level of learners. But inside that class, you have different learning styles, which means what is good for this age or for this learner might not be good for another age and another learner. Something very important, you are teaching different learning styles, which means variety is the key. Variety is the most interesting thing to have a successful lesson. Variety of techniques, variety of skills, variety of approaches, variety of methods, variety of instructions, all the time vary your ways of teaching. Okay, this is the best of the best. Now, for Kevin, maybe he's a novice teacher. Okay, because he's all the time talking about one approach that worked well for him. Maybe he or she has got very good learners. For Sophia, she said that maybe she teaches only kids. But now, if you are teaching adults or different or mixed ability classes, you may not say that TPR is the best. All right. But for the last one, as Shayma said, eclectic approach, when you combine all the approaches, when you vary your ways of teaching, okay. And Wahida said, even with kids, good. Even with kids, we have different age groups. Thank you. All right, thanks. So let's see here the feedback. The feedback is that there are a lot of different methods and approaches to teaching, but no single one is the best. No single one is the best. This is very important. So no single one is the best or the right way. Some methods work for some people and not for other people, okay? If you are teaching in Morocco, it may work a certain approach, but if you are teaching in Japan, maybe you need other approaches. Okay, if you are teaching in the countryside, maybe certain approaches would work. But if you are teaching in the center of the city, maybe other approaches would work. If you are teaching this lesson, maybe this approach or this method work effectively. If you are teaching other types of lessons, they may not work. So here, some methods work for some people and not for other people. The most important things to think about when you are deciding how to teach are, number one, please don't forget, what is the purpose of learning English? What is the purpose of teaching your learners? If the purpose is to communicate, then the methods like communicative language teaching may be the best. So you should facilitate this, or your choice, sorry. Now, what works in a particular context? If an idea is based on a particular context, example, the UK, USA, etc., then it might not work in a different context. Example, Asia, Africa, etc., unless it is modified. And number three, what suits the teacher and his or her style. So these are very important things to take into account. So please, there is no single best or right way when teaching, okay? Great. Now, let's see here, the grammar translation method. All right. Yes, please. Any volunteer, can you tell me what are the characteristics of grammar translation method? Grammar translation method. Any volunteer, what do you think? Do you have any idea about grammar translation method? So let me see here our. So Siam said it depends on translation. Great, thank you. Yes, it depends on translation. Jihan said using the mother tongue. Great. Yeah, Rahima from Language one, first language, second language. Good. Dina, depends on context. Nasira, the main tenet of GTM is to make students able to translate text, memorize vocabulary items. Wonderful. Now, what about the audiolingual method? Audiolingual method, because we are going to compare and contrast the two methods. Audiolingual method. Yeah, Sahar said it depends on memorizing rules. Thank you, Abdul Ali. Grammar translation method is limited, using mother tongue and focus on writing. Nasira, no use of first language. Okay, yeah. Bizri Muhammad, translate to and from the target language. Okay, Sukaina, it gives importance to grammar, rules, and the translation from mother tongue to the target one. Siham, it focuses on language, repetition, drill, or drilling. All right. Hassan Wafi, focus on drilling. Thank you. Here we have the best in the world. It's about drilling. Great. Thanks. So let's see here. Let's see the two. Now, grammar translation method versus the, here we are going to, here. We are going to compare and contrast the grammar translation method with the direct method and the communicative language teaching with the audiolingual method. All right, so let's see the direct method. Okay, great. Now, can you give me other features of the direct method? Yes, please. The direct method, if you have any idea. The direct method. So Ikram said it stresses the use of the communication, pronunciation, repetition so as to memorize rules. Jihan, no use of mother tongue. Great. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So let's see here. All right. Now, grammar translation method versus the direct method. So let's see here, GTM. Grammar translation method. DM, direct method. So the teacher here, grammar translation method, the teacher is the leader, has got the authority. The teacher is the center of the learning process. The teacher is the center of everything. And the student is passive because the teacher is considered as the man of knowledge, the man who knows everything, and he acts like a spoon feeder. So the students are very passive. They are just swallowing information. They are just receiving passively the information. And the teacher gives everything. I give an example. When you are teaching the simple past of regular verbs, from the very beginning, the teacher has got the authority. The simple past of regular verbs is verb plus ed, and the students are listening and writing. They are very passive. Okay, so now the teaching learning process. Grammar translation method depends heavily on translating text and memorizing words. Okay, so they memorize and they translate. So the focus is on reading and writing, also vocabulary, but vocabulary, they are isolated. Language used, which language they use in the classroom. If you are teaching English and your mother tongue is Arabic, they use heavily Arabic. If you are teaching English and your mother tongue is French, the teacher will use French, so the mother tongue. Interaction between students and teachers is teacher-students, teacher-student, teacher-students. So all the time, the teacher is there. Now, how do you correct your learners? The students is going to pronounce Bob, teacher, Bob play tennis. The teacher, immediate correction. No, we say Bob plays tennis. The teacher corrects immediately. What about grammar? When you are teaching grammar, the grammar is taught deductively. Deductively means you start with the rule, then you give example. The verb or the past of regular verbs is verb plus ed. The present continuous is verb or be plus verb plus ing. The simple future is will plus infinitive. From the very beginning, you give them the rule. Okay, now let's see the difference, the contrast. The direct method. Wow, the teacher and the learner, they are like partners. Give and take, there is interaction. So the teacher is the partner. The student is active, is participating. The teaching learning process is that associating meaning with the target language. There must be a context if you want to teach a certain lesson. Now, what about the language? GTM, mother tongue. The direct method is haram. No way. Only the target language. If you are teaching English, you use English. If you are teaching Chinese, you use Chinese. If you are teaching Berber, you use Berber. Okay. The interaction, wow. Teacher, student, 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 student. So who is active? The teacher or the student? Of course, the student. The GTM, who is active? The teacher. Now, what about correcting mistakes? Self-correction. Let's go back to the example. The student will correct him or herself. Teacher, Bob, play tennis. Repeat, play, play, play. What do you think? Remember, we have Bob, we have he, we have she, we have it. Oh, teacher, so Bob plays. So here you are helping the student to correct him or herself. Now, the grammar taught inductively. Inductively here means that you start with examples, you start with context. Bob played tennis. Bob didn't play football. Did Bob play football? So examples. Then students observe the rule. So the student here is active. But for the GTM, the student is active, swallowing the information. Okay, very passive. Yeah, any comments so far about the two, grammar translation method and the direct method? Yes, please. Any feedback, any comments so far? Yes, Siam said it's clear. Thank you. Rahima, yes, I want to talk. Yes, Rahima, raise your hand. Okay, thumbs up and you can talk. Okay. Sana, grammar translation method still confused. Yeah. Yeah, grammar translation method is when you start from the very beginning and you give them the rule, the structure, the form. You provide them with all information and the students are very passive. They are just listening to you and you give them the information. And they have to translate and to memorize everything. Thank you. Okay, now the next one is communicative language teaching and audiolingual method. Can you provide me with some information about communicative language teaching? What are its main features? Communicative language teaching. Yeah, anyone? Yes, please. So let me see our audience on YouTube and Facebook. So Jean said it focuses on speaking. Okay. It focuses on speaking. Good. Hasna said on YouTube said direct method is a reaction to GTM. Thank you. Yes, in an attempt of more use of the target language. Great. Sukaina Zahrawi, it's so great, perfect, Professor. Thank you. Firdaus, the grammar translation method resembles the traditional method of teaching. Thank you. Yes, here we have Rahima. Yes, please use the mic, Rahima. Abdulali said,
hello, actually, my name is...
Yes, you can talk. Yes, please.
Sorry, my name is...
Rahim.
Yeah.
Rahim.
So concerning the GTM,
Yes.
yeah, it's okay. I remember that one of the teachers in the university, she used to tell us that the GTM is used for the black people and some soldiers during the war because they got some ambiguity concerning learning languages.
Interesting.
Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Rahim, where are you from?
I'm from Algeria.
Thank you, our neighbor. Yeah. So yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
interesting idea. But here, please, as a teacher, don't go deeper. Okay, don't focus on extraordinary information. The most important here is that grammar translation method is a classical method. It goes back to the Greek. Yeah, it's a classical method, and it's about providing the learner with everything. The learner is passive, the teacher is active. When we talk about error correction, the teacher will correct the mistake and you are passive, you are just listening for correction. When we talk about teaching grammar, the teacher will not give you an opportunity to discover the rules by yourself, but is going to provide you from the very beginning with the rules. When we talk about vocabulary, you are not going to guess the meaning of the vocabulary from context, but you are going to memorize the vocab in chunks, in a list, okay? So this is the grammar translation method. Thank you. Now, what about communicative language teaching? So let's see here. Ismail here on YouTube said the grammar accuracy is not emphasized, but it's fundamentally focused on the flow of communication. Thank you, Rabia. It's focused on participation in a meaningful communication. Wonderful. Najia, creating contacts using visual things, group work, role plays. Perfect. I like Ikram. It's focused on fluency, then accuracy. 100%. I agree with you. Okay, thank you. Wahida, it's focused on meaning and fluency, not on grammar. Nasira, only everyday language is thought. All right, Najia, language is a means of communication. Thank you. Great, so let's see here the difference between the two. Now, communicative language teaching, the meaning and the form. Communicative language teaching, meaning is essential. Meaning is important. When you want to understand, when you want to know about the meaning of vocab, we put vocab in context, and from context, you guess the meaning. If you want to understand grammar, we put grammar structure in context, and from context, you guess the meaning. But for audiolingual method, no, I don't care about the meaning. The form is important. I focus on the structure. The form. Now the dialogues, how they look at the conversation, at the dialogue. Now, communicative language teaching, they use role plays, they use conversations, they use dialogues. How? By practice. Yes, work in pairs, go to the board, yeah, play a role. They practice, they speak, they write, they listen to each other, okay? Now, for audiolingual method, the dialogue must be memorized. You learn it by heart, memorization. But for communicative language teaching is the meaning. You practice and the meaning is important. Now we go back to contextualization. For communicative language teaching, contextualization is the most important element in this approach. For audiolingual method, it's not important. You can start the grammar lesson with no context, with no conversation, with no examples. Now, drilling, when you ask students to repeat after you or to read a certain expression for improving their pronunciation. So for communicative language teaching may occur, but preferably sometimes, okay. But for audiolingual is a central technique. All the time repeat. When you choose simple past, yesterday I played tennis, repeat. Yesterday I played tennis, I played tennis, I repeat all of you. This is audiolingual method. But for communicative language teaching, it may occur and from time to time. Okay. Now, The relationship between the teacher and the learner. The teacher in communicative language teaching plays different roles, and his main job is to help the learner. He can play the role of the guide, the prompt, the helper, the facilitator, the assessor, giving feedback. So different roles, because the most important is to help the learner. Now, for the audiolingual method, the teacher controls learners. Okay. Now, what about language learning? Communicative language, as Najia said, communicative language approach sees, views, looks at language as a means of communication. I'm going to teach you for communication purposes. I'm going to teach you to speak English. I'm going to teach you to write in English. So communication, speaking, reading, writing, it focuses on the 4 skills, but we start with fluency, then accuracy. And sometimes with beginners, it's better to start with accuracy than fluency. So it depends on the level of the learner. Okay, so communication is the most important. For audiolingual method, what is important for me is to teach the simple past, to teach the verb to be, to teach the simple past of regular verbs, play, played, study, studied. For communicative language teaching, no, I don't care about play, played. What I care about is that the learner should use the language in a context, role plays. They should speak here and outside the classroom, real life communication. Now, what about correcting students' mistakes, errors? So errors for communicative language teaching, wow. They are parts of learning. It's okay. I don't care about my students. Make mistakes, no problem. From mistakes we learn. They are very natural. It's a very positive learning environment. And students are motivated. They don't care about mistakes because you as a teacher, you don't care about them. They are part of learning. You see, very positive learning environment. You feel at ease. But now, in audiolingual method, no way. Okay, carefully avoid it. You try to help your learners to avoid making mistakes. So these are some of the differences between the two, between communicative language teaching and audiolingual method. But please again, there is no perfect, there is no right, best approach or method. Okay, let me see the chat in the. So Muhammad said mistakes lead to perfect man. Thank you. Wahida, not be a linguist. Yeah, they learn from their mistakes. Great. Siham, communicative language teaching insists on the use of real language. Yes, realistic communication, real life context. Wonderful, great. Okay. Now, yes, Rahim said mistakes are needed to learn. Thank you. I agree. All right. So here Rabia said in communicative language, errors are signs that students are learning. Thank you for this expression. So on YouTube, Bizdari Muhammad said GMT is not focused on developing or ability. Rabia said it's a learner-centered approach. Thank you. Great. Saeed Al-Yusfi, it's focused on fluency. Thanks. Abdulali Tahiri, I think you swapped the way grammar is taught between GTM and DM. Please correct me if I'm confused. Yes, with grammar translation method, we start with the rule, then we move to examples. Remember, grammar translation method. The rule number 1, then examples. Okay, thank you. Good. So let's move on to the next slide. Now, here, can you guess which approach or method does the teacher use here? Look at this picture. Can you tell me which approach? It's a new approach or a new method? So Shaima said total physical response. Wahida TPR. Shaima TPR. Jihan humanistic methods. Najia TPR, Siham Suggestopedia, Nasira TPR, Ikram TPR. Okay. Good. So Rahim TPR, Ikram TPR, Siham said Suggestopedia. Jihan silent way. Okay, maybe, yeah, because the picture there is no sound. All right, great. Yes, on YouTube, Saeed used to say TPR, the best in the world said TPR. Ismail TPR, thank you. Very good job. You are great teachers. Yes, TPR, total physical response. Total physical response. Now, what do you know about this method? What look at the age of learners. What do you know about this method? Okay. So Najee said it's very suitable for children. Yeah, any volunteer to interact, any volunteer to answer, I can give you the floor. All right. Yes, involving physical activities, Jihan said, wonderful. TPR is based on the coordination of language and physical movements. It can be used to teach simple structures. Thank you. All right. Great. Yes, Najia, it focuses on young learners. Great. Leila, TPR, total physical response. Hanan Luafi, students learn through commands that the teacher gives them. Yeah, they give commands. Sahar, Rami using body language. Bizri, Muhammad using some words. Firdaus, it's very effective for kids to learn easily. All right, good. So it's the TPR. So let's see here. The characteristics of TPR, the coordination of speech and action, body language, listen and act. Listen, watch, talk. So the coordination, the teacher says, flying a kite. Students action, they do like this. They use their body language, flying a kite. Dancing, the students dance. Okay. Speech, drinking, the students do like this. Okay, it's action. Okay. Learners play the roles of listener and performer. You listen and you perform. Stand up, sit down, dance, sing, drink, swim. You do like this. So the students listen and perform. Learners monitor and evaluate their own progress. Yeah, they evaluate themselves, even though they are children. Reading and writing is taught after grammar and vocab. Now, grammar is taught inductively with context, with examples, with actions, and students just observe, okay, and then they understand. Learning language by gesture. The teacher uses a lot of gestures, body movements, okay. The teacher and students are the actors. When we say actors, that means you are creating an enjoyable learning environment. It's low stress environment. Students feel so happy. They enjoy learning. There is no stress. They feel at ease. They feel comfortable. The coming day, they are running to come to your classes. Why? Because they like to act. They like to have fun. They like to move. They are children. They are young learners. They keep moving, okay? Now, students should be more active and talkative. Students should talk a lot and should be very active. All right, great. Now, I'm going to show you a video and you tell me about the role of the teacher, the role of the students, and you tell me about the environment. How is the environment is? And you tell me about the lesson taught. What is the lesson, the role of the teacher, the role of the student, and how is the environment like? Or what's the environment like? Okay, so let me stop sharing first. and then share the video. All right, so let's see here. So please, do you hear the sound?
1, 2, 3, go. And let's walk, walk.
Please, do you hear the sound or not? Right in the chat box. Yes, please.
Walk, 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 and stop. And sit down. Very good. And stand up, stand up, stand up. Very good. Can you show me how to swim? Do you know how to swim? How do you swim? You swim like this. Yeah. You swim like this. Yeah. So let's swim around the room. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Let's swim, 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 and swim quickly, swim quickly, swim, 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 swim quickly, and stop. And sit down. Very good. And stand up. Very good, very good. Now, can you show me how to fly? How do you fly? How do you fly? Like this. You can fly. Yeah, fly. So are we ready? Okay, let's ready, steady, go. Let's fly, 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 and stop, and sit down. Very good. And stand up. Very good. Hold hands in a circle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Let's get smaller and smaller and smaller. Come forward. And smaller and smaller and stop. Let's get bigger and bigger and bigger and stop and sit down. Very good. Okay. What is this?
So here, I want you question number 1. What is the role of the teacher? What are the roles of the learner? How is the environment look like? The learning environment and the age of learners. So, any volunteer to talk, or you can write in the chat box. All right, so anyone? Yes, please. All right, thank you. So Shayma, please, yes, use the mic.
So the role of the teacher is active. He's very active. He is providing a comprehensible input over and over again. The role of the students is passive. They don't really speak. They only do what they are asked to do. And the environment is very positive and not feeling pressured or anxious. It is very positive and comfortable environment.
Thank you. So here, thanks, Shayma. Very interesting ideas about this video. So she answered the atmosphere is a healthy atmosphere. Muhammad, it's a very good entertainment for these kids. Wonderful, thank you. All right, great. So let me go back to share my slides again. So as you see now, concerning this video, that number 1, the teacher plays the role of the actor. The learners play the role of the imitator, they imitate, and they are actors at the same time. Now, the environment is very healthy. low stress environment, enjoyable learn environment. But here, something very interesting about the teacher is like practicing sports, okay? All the time when you teach kids and you use the TPR, you should take a shower, okay? Because you move a lot. However, as I said in the very beginning about TEFL, it's rewarding. You see those innocent students, they are very active, they are learning. So if you're tired, you should take a shower by the end of the lesson. However, it's rewarding, okay? All right. Yeah, did you like the video? Yes? Yeah, I like it and I watched it many times, yeah. Great. Which means here, something very interesting again, that learners, young learners, we should keep them moving, keep them walking. Movement is very important for young learners. Okay, thank you. Great. The next slide. Now, okay, yeah, before recommendations, recommendations. And before that, we are going to use another game. So let me just stop sharing first. And then share again, just 1 second. Okay, let me stop sharing. Sorry. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to share a game with you all that we are going to play. And this game, I guess the majority of you know about it. It's it's Kahoot game. Okay, just 1 second. So let me share again my slides for my game. Okay, great. So now we are going to practice what we have learned. Do you see? Okay, great. So let me tell you here, I want you now, I want you to write, use your mobile phones or smartphones or even your computer. And I want you to type here www.kahoot.com. www.kahoot.it, and then you write this number, this code 6648901. So please, then we are going to practice what we have learned today about approaches and methods. Yes, please, I'm waiting for you. I'm going to practice with you as well. So I'm waiting for everyone to join. So www.kahoot.it, then you write this number. Any volunteer? So Shaymat, we have one. Shaymat, yeah, if you can use your piece, no problem, Wahida. Muad. All right, Muhammad. Ali. Good. Thank you, Wafa. Here from Ahmed. I did the same with my student last year after I attended. Thank you. It's our pleasure. So we have Ali, Shayma, Muhammad, Mu'ad. So we can have many participants. All right, Rabia, good. Muhammad Bizria, great. Yes. All right. Usama, careful for sun. Amethyst, good. All right. Habiba, great, from Algeria, our inspector in Algeria. Abdali, Nasira, Aziza, Khalil. Yeah, Wahida, many participants right now. Wow. Okay. In 1 minute, we will start. Okay, now. All right. Firdaus, I guess from Algeria. Fatih, Rima, Iham, Ayub, Rakim. All right. Wonderful. So 21 players. Wow. So www.kahoot.it, pin is 6648901. So I guess we can start right now. All right. So suspense 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 1, 2, 3, Dima, Algeria, yes. Very interesting number 1, 2, 3. Always Algeria. Great, so let's get started. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry for those who couldn't join. So question number 1. Allowing learners to focus more on communicative competence than linguistic competence. All right, so it's the communicative. Okay, so let's see. Wow, Muhammad Bizri from Morocco, number 1, Nasira, Muhammad, Shayma, Ali. So basically they give you the first 5 people who are on the top. Great, the next one. Second question. Which approach does not allow learners to use their native language in a language class? Communicative, direct, or the physical? Yes, it's the direct method. It doesn't allow learners, it's haram to use your mother tongue. Yeah, by the way, the first and the second one who are going to be the first, they will get the certificates for free plus all the course packages. So number 1, number 2 for free. Okay. But if you already paid them, yeah, there's nothing to do with you. Okay, so let's start again. Muhammad, great. Nasira, Muhammad, Shuaib, Sarah, wonderful. Let's continue. Next. So, it is geared towards learners who Oh, Nasira is number 1. Muhammad, number 2. Bizri, number 3. Wow, Muad, Sarah. Nasira, you are doing great. Nasira and Muhammad. Very interesting. Strong competition. I like it. But the purpose is learning. Okay. Number 4. Learners must memorize grammar rules and vocab and translate large amounts of text. Grammar translation method. Learners must memorize grammar rules. We start from the very beginning, providing learners with the structure, the form of the grammar lesson. Oh, Nasira, great. Oh, Muhammad is coming back. Muhammad Bizri, great. Muhammad number 3, Muad, Sarah, okay. Yeah, Rima is the highest, let me see. Okay, is the highest climber, up to 20 places. Great. Next, number 5. When learners of different levels form small groups that must complete tasks together. What is this? Product approach, cooperative learning, process approach. Let's see, Nasira, still number 1, Muhammad 2, Sarah, oh, Muhammad Bizri number 4, Muad, and 3 players just hit answer. Yeah, great. Next, we still have 4 answers. Teaching grammar in which learners must discover the rules. So here we have teaching grammar in which learners must discover the rules in contacts themselves while reading. So it is basically we call this the inductive approach. Nasira, wow, Sarah, Muhammad Bizri, Muhammad Muada. Great, next. Teaching grammar in which the rules are given to the learner first, followed by examples and exercises. The deductive approach or method. It starts with giving the rules, then examples. Wonderful. Wow. Nasira, still the leader. Sarah, oh, we have 2 female participants now. 1 and 2. Okay, Muhammad, Bizri, and then Muhammad and Muada. Wonderful. Let's see again. Number 8. Still 3 more questions. Teaching writing in which learners are given a model and then asked to create something similar. So when you give them a model, it's a product writing. You start with the email. When you are teaching email, you give them an email sample. When you are teaching writing a letter, you give them a letter from the very beginning to read. So this is product writing, or writing as a product. So let's see. Wow. Nasira 9,000 so far. Okay. Sarah 2, Muhammad Bizri 3, Muhammad. Oh, Shayma is here again. Wonderful. Next, number 9, teaching writing that walks learners through the stages of pre-writing, writing, and revision or review. That walks learners through the stage of pre-writing, writing, and revision. This is what we call process. You start with brainstorming, planning ideas, writing the first time, correcting your mistakes, peer correction, etc. Then the final draft. So Nasira again, 10,000, Sarah 9, Muhammad 8, Muhammad Bizri 8, Shayma 6,000. Good. Next, the last one, then we will see who is the winner. Students hear dialogues and teacher gives comments that students repeat. Grammar translation or mixed language teaching. Of course, total physical response. Stand up, sit down, sit down. Flying, you do like this, flying, giving comments, giving orders, okay. And there's a dialogue. The winner is, of course, Muhammad number 3. Wonderful. Number 2. Oh. And great. Nasira, Sarah. All right. Thank you. Did you like the game? So for Nasira and Sarah and even Muhammad, you can contact us to get the certificates and the course for free. All right. Thank you for this one. Okay, great. So this is a game, an online game, and in the coming lessons, we are going to see some digital tools that motivate and engage your learners. Okay, great. Yes, Muhammad, do you have a question? Use the mic. Activate your mic if you can. Yes, let me go back to our slides. So here, just one second. Okay, so let's move on to the last slide. Recommendations. Okay, just one second. Yes, recommendations. Do you see the slides? Yes or no? Okay, so let me see. Now, let me share with you the slides again. Just one second, please. All right. Okay, so recommendations. So please never forget that learning how to teach, number 1, takes time. They cannot learn overnight. They cannot learn the grammar lesson just 1 hour session, but they need practice. So takes practice. And the most important is an ongoing process, is a learning process. So teaching takes time. Teaching and learning takes time, or learning takes practice. They need more practice, and it's a learning process. Next, teachers must be creative, not slaves to the textbooks, and flexible to make their classes lively and effective, like the TPR. positive learning environment, including a variety of tasks, variety of techniques, tasks, methods, topics can be a source of real motivation for the learners. You have to vary your methods, you have to vary your techniques, to vary your topics to motivate your learners. And it's also important to remember that your purpose is not to complete the syllabus, is not to complete the program, is not to complete the 10 units. Your purpose is to meet the learner's needs. Your purpose is to help your learners to understand the lesson and to practice the lesson. And the last one, you must remember again that you are teaching the learners, not blindly following the book or the materials. Please don't care about the book and the materials. Oh, I have to finish the book. Oh, I have to finish the first unit. Oh, the first lesson is very long. I have to do my best to finish or to complete. No, focus on the learner's needs and the learner's wants. How? Vary your techniques, vary your methods, vary your skills. Variety is the key to have a successful lesson. Thank you. And see you tomorrow for the second lesson about how to teach grammar. Okay. Any comments or questions? You are most welcome. Yes, please. All right. Yeah, any question or comments? You are most welcome. Or if you want to talk, we can give you the floor. All right, thank you. Some said yes, everything is clear. Yeah, interesting. Thank you. All right, so see you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you. Goodbye.